2019 Ford F250 6.7 liter Power Stroke. What I've got here is I'm pulling off the air box. It's a 7mm. All you do is just unclip the clips over here in this end, 7mm right here on the upper intake housing. And then if you look, you can see my rod right here going down, taking the belt off. It's a 3/8 belt tensioner. And then I'm going to go underneath and I'm actually going to unbolt the face of the AC compressor because the clutch is locked up and it's not actuating properly anymore. And it is a replaceable part. It's all the way down there. So I'll get the vehicle up in the air and start to pull that off, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, one of the things that I forgot to say when I was when I went from the belt down to the bottom of the truck was you need to pull the steering stabilizer rod out of there. And there are two lines that run along the bottom of the pan that have like a little clip that bolt up to the side of the oil pan. Pull that 10mm nut off, slide it out of the way, and take that steering stabilizer and pull it around to the front. When it goes back on, you really need to be putting a new bolt on it, but most people can get by with some red Loctite on the bolt that holds the steering stabilizer in. You only have to pull the one end out and swing it out of the way, and then put it back, torque it real good and tight, and put red Loctite stabilizer or the Loctite on that. So, and now I'm in the process of evacuating. I'm going to go ahead and recharge. I'm going to start the vehicle up, but that is the process of changing the clutch. Okay, this is the bolt that holds the center in, and then here's the little shims that shim your clutch face out. They go in the center here. And if you look, this is all tore up all the way around where this thing has been collapsed. Pull the bolt out, put some screwdrivers behind it, kind of finagle it off, pull it off, and then I took the bolts. Took the bolt up there and kind of just slid it back out of the way to give myself some room. Take that snap ring out of there and then work that clutch face off and replace it. So what I'm going to have to do, because I really don't have enough clearance to get back in that compressor to get the lock ring out from inside here, I'm actually going to go ahead and pull this compressor out of here. What you'll do is you'll just leave this one bolt that's in the top right here. You'll leave it in there until you can move this compressor around enough, because it hits the frame right here and it won't clear to come out of there. So as you turn the compressor, as you rotate the compressor this way to drop it down out of here, what you'll do is you'll pull the bolt out at that point. But right now we're just going to leave it in there, evacuate everything, and then go ahead and pull the compressor out and pull the clutch out on the bench. There's not enough room in this little hole right here. Well, I have got the AC lines pulled off the compressor. Now it's time to go ahead and pull it out of the truck, dropping it out of the bottom right here, from the bottom where I pulled this steering stabilizer shock off. Okay, what I did was there's an outer snap ring and then there's an inner snap ring. I took the outer snap ring first, and then I got right behind the lip of this thing and I tapped behind the lip. I tapped it off. Now it's got 3 Phillips screws inside, and then there was a snap ring inside there as well. I took that snap ring out as well, and I'll take the Phillips screws out and I'll go ahead and finagle this thing with a couple screwdrivers and stuff to get it off of there. When you go to put the new clutch on there, make sure you get your Phillips in there nice and tight, your Phillips screws. But there's a groove back here that this clutch sits in, and then the wire connector comes up here with a new tab and stuff and plugs back into the body of the compressor. And then go ahead and assemble everything else as you normally would. So I've got it all back together, and I just went ahead and took all the shims and stuck it in there. And Ford spec is 0.3mm to 0.6mm. So what I did was I said I wanted to be at least between my smallest gauge and my biggest gauge before I go out of spec. So if I can stay in here, I'm good. So as of right now, I'm way too much. So I'm going to take one of the shims out and then re-gauge it again. Okay, so I'll show you my biggest feeler gauge, the 0.533mm. It won't really fit in there. But if I take my smaller one, it'll actually fit in there. So I know I'm in between my spec now. I'm less than 0.533, and I'm more than 0.381, so that's good. So you can see here, it's got nice light drag to it. Let's see what the next one is that would fit snugly. Here's 0.4. So let me check 0.4. Okay, 0.4 fits. It's nice and... But if I wanted to go... check 0.508. It's a little tight. So I'm at about 0.4, and the spec is 0.3 to 0.6, so I know that's kind of where I want to be. So I'm going to leave it exactly where it's at. I'm going to go ahead and install this back on the vehicle, and I'm going to recharge it. That is how you change the clutch on a 2019, probably 2018 and 2017 Super Duty. And most other clutches are kind of the same way. They all apply about the same principle. So the part number for this... Here's the part number. The base is 19D786. Alright guys, take care.